Book your driving lesson now
at dla-driving.co.uk.
Sponsored by DLA Driving Schools.
Hello and welcome to Owen the Town. Well, what a difference a few days makes, eh? After a really dismal performance against Burnley, the Hatters turn it all around with a performance that I think deservedly ended with a point at Fratton Park, despite the dismissal of goalkeeper Kaminski, in what I can only describe as a crazy 3 minutes. Shea, we defended strongly with him in goal, and possibly we could have nicked all 3 points. I think it was a pleasure to see a Luton Town performance, and will this performance change people's views on this season? We'll find out shortly when we ask Dan. Also in the news, Luton have slapped a £15 million price tag on Alfie Doughty. As several Premier League clubs have shown interest in signing him, we asked what can we expect, a few departures and a possible rivals in the next few days. Can we do that? We've got your 3-word reviews and much, much more. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that we've got a full house today. So I welcome to the table Darren, not Dan, Darren, Steve and Bataru.
Good evening.
How are we?
Lovely.
It was it was a lovely trip, first off, to go to Portsmouth. Nice and easy to get to. Maybe the kick-off time helped us all get there. Mm-hmm. But it was one of those frustrating afternoons, boys, wasn't it?
I thought we were the better side. But yeah, obviously the sending off just changed our whole sort of outlook on the game. Morris was the victim of what happened, but I think we said at the time you could just see it stops our ability to press so hard from the top, which is what we were doing. You know, their keeper, who went on to get man of the match, he got 2 or 3 clearances, just went straight out of play because he was getting pressed by normally Elijah, but Morris as well. But
Elijah and Morris at the same time. Yeah. Is it too early, Bataro? We're going to discuss the game obviously in more detail, but too early to talk about the dismal performance of a referee. Was he that bad? Because on the day I thought he was making some terrible decisions.
Yeah, he's pretty awful. Like, I mean, sorry, both sides could probably put a massive complaint against him because he was. I mean, I managed to watch on the TV. Obviously, unfortunately, I weren't with you boys. I wasn't that fortunate for certain reasons, but yeah, he was a bit of a knob. That's what I've got to say.
Sorry.
And Botaro is back. Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
He was useless, mate. I've seen some shocking refereeing performances. I think that's probably up there.
I thought he let lots go for both sides. There was quite a few occasions where they were looking to get a soft free kick, and he didn't buy any of those, which I thought was really pleasing. One glaring balls up when he gave us a free kick far too quickly because Chong was breaking. So we lost the advantage. Then the injured player had to go off the pitch, and he made a complete foul up of that. But I thought he let stuff go both ways.
I felt like I think it was in the second half he made a mistake. I don't know exactly what happened, but he made a mistake. And I think he had a mad sort of like 3 to 6, 7 minutes.
Right. He made a mistake he made a big mistake in the first half, Darren. Didn't he?
I think it's like if you play around the golf and you have a bad shot, a bad hole, and you can't recover for the rest. I think
I've never done that.
Okay, you play a scratch.
Yeah,
but when did Kaminski go off? Was it 25, 26?
26 minutes
around there.
Yeah.
I think his head's gone. I think the ref's head's gone, and he couldn't get himself back in that game.
Do you think he was influenced by the crowd at all?
On the
booking,
on the first booking, 100%. But we do that at home, don't we? They were quite loud, weren't they? The Portsmouth fans, and
at times,
just at times,
with their 2 songs. But they they were on the ref's back. I think it was just a few minutes before, wasn't it? I know we said we'd come on to the game later, but while we're talking about it, a few minutes before when we were seemingly wasting time, but actually we were trying to set something up. So he gave him a warning, and then when they were doing it again...
I didn't see him give him a warning.
He did. He said to Kaminski...
It was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
little hand gesture,
well,
sort of
works.
wave, come on.
It should work
But-
for both teams, right?
Yeah, but you know, we saw the Burnley keeper get done. I've heard so it's obviously something that's being clamped down on a little bit more this year across the leagues. But with the original question, the crowd, I don't think were they actually really taking that long. But it's just as soon as they started passing it between them, you take it. The crowd got going, and he couldn't got the yellow card out
So
quicker.
definitely influenced by the crowd,
Yeah.
you know. And,
It was, but it wasn't time wasting. They were just getting their knickers in a twist, the two of them. That, you know, they couldn't decide what to do, and you know they were arguing about it.
Why? Well, the question is, why would you waste time when you're definitely on top of the game?
Yeah,
we
exactly,
were. We had
yeah.
more chances than them. We had the ball longer than them. We were peppering their goal. Why would you waste time after 26
and
minutes
you're not
when you're
winning?
the strongest team on the day?
I'm pretty sure. Sorry, but
No,
jump
no.
in there. I'm pretty sure the Sky commentary team as well also said that at this point, obviously, I generally thought he was on top of that point as well. And they turned around and said, "Oh, you know, Luton are just trying to take the sting out of the crowd and all this sort of stuff." And
No,
I was sitting there going,
no.
"Hang on a minute, the ball just came down this end probably for about 30 seconds or
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
out of about 3-4 minutes."
Yeah,
It
no,
made no sense to me.
it was clearly they couldn't decide
Yeah.
what to do with it.
Before we talk about the game, as usual, we've got some 3-word reviews through. There's no producer Jacob tonight, so stick with us. Let's have a look at what they've
You
said.
can tell it's definitely not Jacob doing this. Christ,
No, you
Dave,
can
was it
tell. Yeah, you can tell. Ben said hard fought point. LTFC Reese says better than Monday. Lee Ansell, kick on now. Phil Ollie, booked wrong player. Howie, battled for that. Justin Palmer said fantastic shift, lads. George Bayliss, glad Clark's back. Daz Hatter, more like us. And let's finish with KM Canada from Canada. Mengi, Doughty, Clark. Do you want to pick any of those out?
I'll go with LTFC Reese, better than Monday. And that's all we need.
Well, your opinion on Monday was very strong about how poor Luton Town were, and it wasn't the Luton game and the way we played. And you said that a lot of players were off it. Your opinion changed on that, right?
Yeah, of course, and we needed that reaction.
Undoubtedly.
They could not go out and do a similar performance. So, yeah, it had to be better than Monday, and it was with 11 and with 10.
Yeah, I'm sure if it had stayed at 11 against 11, we would have won
of course.
that
Yeah,
game.
I believe so as well.
Yeah. So really quickly, Phil Ollie booked wrong player. To me, it had to be Mengi that got booked. Because he was the one that was standing next to the ball.
With the ball, yeah.
You know, I mean, I know you said at the game, Dave, you had a theory.
I did have a theory, which proved to be wrong, obviously, because of what happened. But I would say it would have been easier to book the goalkeeper, because normally they'll get one yellow for time wasting and they'll never get a second yellow for time wasting. They won't get sent off. And you don't expect your goalkeeper then to get a further yellow in the way they did. So if he books Mengi's on now an issue of defending and possibly getting a second yellow. So maybe it was that, but maybe it was just because he was an incompetent referee. You know, let's be fair to him. It's his job, and he's done a lot of qualifications to get there.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the wrong booking.
Yeah.
Wrong booking entirely, but you can't even object to that.
And I think it clearly shows that he hasn't played the game at any level, because anyone that had would know that wasn't time wasting.
Yeah.
We were in the ascendancy. It was 0-0.
Yeah.
You know, why would we be wasting time? You know,
That's what I'm saying. If it's a new rule, it's one of these new things. Right, this year, as referees, we're going to clamp down on this. Couldn't wait to do it because it's like, oh yeah, I've done my
Look
bit.
at me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just can't see how it was Kaminski that got it. As I say, Mengi was the one by the ball. To me, it had to be.
Is there anything
him.
in the fact that it was a goal kick? So if there's time
No.
wasting a goal kick, it
No.
goes. I don't know.
No,
Where he goes,
well,
I'll put the goalie then.
I would say the same if you have a throw in, right? You get one player that takes it and he goes, oh no, you take it, and he throws the ball to him, and the other guy goes, oh no, I'll take it, and then I'll walk up this pitch a bit. I know you have the ball back. They give it to the last person holding the ball, and that's
true.
the one that gets booked, not the first person that picks it up.
Yeah, it's crazy. You think about
It's
it.
a crazy, crazy world, and it was really disappointing because I thought with 11 we'd have done them. And then let's not take anything away from Portsmouth's point of view. They worked hard. They created some space. They created some chances. But their fans, having trawled their internet for a little bit, their fans said we were there for the taking when we had 10 men, clearly not with 11. But I reckon
Yeah,
we
but
could.
they would say that, wouldn't they?
Well, they would say that, but you should say that as
Because
well.
they say, oh, you got like you know, a team's got 10 men, but I think that just proves the quality difference in our team compared to theirs. With all due respect, I'm not being funny. If they can't dominate us, when we've got 10 with a man light,
Yeah,
then you
I mean,
know,
Mengi was more back to his old self. I mean, there was
Yeah,
there was definitely 2 occasions in the second half where they done through balls and the striker had the ball and was
Yeah.
running towards goal,
And he bodied
and
them.
he just powered past him, and just brushed
Yeah.
him aside. So it was good to see him back. But on the 3-word review as well, quickly, glad Clark's back.
Oh, Clark was superb, wasn't he?
You know,
Brilliant.
I know Darren isn't blown away by him, but I just
Are you not, Darren?
Not personally, no.
no, I just feel that he knits everything together.
No, so I know. I think looking at the starting lineup, I'm glad to see him in there. Look, like we said last week, Nelson didn't do a bad job, and Joe Johnson did all right. But look, when we looked at that team sheet an hour before,
It was him and Bell as well.
yeah, it suddenly
Amari
looked
Bell back as well.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. Right?
He played quite well as well.
but it suddenly looked a much better starting 11. Okay, the bench looked a little light, but when the players come back, it's going to look all right. Look, I was happy to see Clark there. I like Clark.
Yeah.
I really do like Clark. But for the type of player he is, he should have more goal contributions.
Yeah. I'll maybe give you that, Darren. I just feel that
just a point of order here. He
Yeah.
did score one of the biggest goals in Luton's
Of course,
history.
of course.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, he'll be a legend for that.
And he had a wonderful game. I thought he had a wonderful game on Saturday.
You know, because we commented about the midfield against Burnley, and it was sort of non-existent
Yeah.
and blown
Yeah.
away. He's like he just holds it all together. He links with the defence to the midfielder, but also the forwards and that. He's such an intelligent player. He's
sharp
always
as well.
he's always there
Yeah.
to receive it. He seldom does a bad pass. I mean, it was his pass through to Morris who missed the chance that we'll discuss later, but that was an absolutely tremendous through ball. It was like through 2 or 3 of their players on a plate to Morris. He didn't even have to break stride, and I think he's one of the only people that's capable and has that vision, and it was brilliant.
and he can put it around a bit. He loves a tackle. He
Exactly.
got away with a couple before he got booked. didn't he?
Yesterday was one, wasn't there? I can't remember if it was the first or second half. I thought, Christ, what's he doing diving in like that?
Yeah,
Jesus.
no, I just thought the whole midfield benefited from him being there.
I think it was obvious that we were on top. I mean, the first 6 minutes or so, and if you go back and you could listen to the Portsmouth commentators on the game, they realised that Luton came out super fast. Within 6 minutes, we could have been 1-0 up easily, maybe 2. We had some glorious chances, and we took the game to them. Portsmouth didn't start very, very well, did they, Darren? At all? Not at all.
No, it was their first home game back in
big
the
occasion
Championship
for them, I'd
years.
imagine,
They
yeah.
had those kind of fireworks that went off, and some sailor guy with a sign jumping around with a
Well, no,
for sale
that's
sign.
that. You know, to be fair, let's be fair about that one. The sailor sign thing, that is a big thing for them. It's their,
It
their
is.
trademark.
It is, but we jest. So
And
it's,
you say jest, but you know,
but,
we laugh.
So yeah, it was a big occasion, but I think we just absolutely come flying out the blocks,
Yep.
and maybe not took them by surprise, but we just didn't give them a breath.
No,
Didn't give them a breath to start with.
I genuinely thought we were going to. It sounds a bit. I don't know how to describe this, but I genuinely thought we were just going to walk the goal in. I thought we were going to get 2, 3, 4 goals by the way we started. And
Until we miss the opportunities, and you think, we're going
yeah,
to
well, you know what? I just kept thinking we miss opportunities, but the goal will come.
Yeah.
Because we were so strong in that
of course.
first 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes. We were so strong.
But again, Dave, we said, and we've said it so many times, when you are on top, you have to take those
This
chances.
is it, yeah.
You know, a Chong one, fizzed one across the goal.
Well, let's talk about that one first
Yeah.
off, you know, because that was a fantastic shot. And you're just thinking that's fizzing across the goal. It's almost like Gascoigne's toe away from someone just connecting
I
with it.
think Elijah was running in on
Yeah.
it. A cross come shot.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a shot. But if you're a striker, you want to be in those positions, right?
Yeah, I think I think he was just putting it in a danger zone. It could get a deflection. Someone's going in. It might go in. But yeah, Eli was a yard away from it.
Yeah. I do like Chong. He puts in maximum effort all the time. I think, you know, even when things aren't going well, he's not scared to put himself right in the way of stuff.
I think he just needs to eat a few more calories. No, honestly, sometimes he's so light. I'm honestly right. I think he's a brilliant player. Don't get me wrong. He's fit as anything. He don't stop, and the commitment there. But sometimes I feel like he tries to put his body in front of a player, and he's just getting swashed out of the way. It's like, come on, mate.
Yeah, but to the same extent, Morris will put himself in front of a player and get knocked over. And he's twice the size of him.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. Though. But half the time it goes without a foul though on Chong, and then he has to.
They're able to sort of just move him out the way.
And there was a couple of times that he got knocked off the ball. He had control of the ball, and he got knocked off the ball, and lost the ball, and all of a sudden won the ball back and took a toe off him because he was a bit, that extra yard quicker as such. But
sometimes footballing skills is better than being that strong, right?
No, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I just think,
Look, Chong,
sometimes
with Chong, he got that ball across. He tends to get the ball in. Something comes at the end of a bit of skill with that run. Look, we were talking on the way home, Steve, weren't we, about their fella on their left wing? He had he could take the ball out of the sky like you wouldn't believe. He had a lovely touch. That was it.
He produced nothing, and particularly second half when we were down to 10 men, they had more of the ball. I would suggest without really making us scramble, stuff like that. He didn't produce once to give them an opportunity.
No.
I think 3 times at least straight out of play.
Yeah.
Say, as you said, Darren, control the ball brilliantly, but then after that, it done absolutely jack.
Can you not put that down to really good defending by Walters?
No, he's putting the ball straight out.
I was going to say, Walters and Ogbeni shut him down quite quickly and didn't give him a lot of time.
The guy had no end product, and that's what I was saying about Chong. He has end product.
Yeah, of course.
You said about Walters there, Dave.
I want to talk about the whole squad because the way that we had to get together to get that result on Saturday was Saturday, wasn't it? It feels like it should be Monday or Fridays. The way we had to band together. I want to talk about Walters because he had a fantastic match, and I also want to talk about Ogbeni at this moment in time. We've criticised, we said in the past, when he knows he can beat a player, he should go and take a player on, right? Mm-hmm. And he did that on Saturday, Darren.
Yeah, he did. I think he knew he had the beating of his man. I think at the moment he's playing that right wing back position. So he's got to be careful how many times he goes. I wonder how many times he can hit his maximum in the 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And they doubled up on him again, didn't they?
I was going to say they doubled up on him to stop him doing that.
You can only hit those speeds every so often. He can't do it every time, or else he's not going to last.
His poor legs,
I said it last week. I'm going to be really excited to think when Mads or Burke is back on the right of the 3, Walters goes out to right wing back. Ogbene, for me, goes on to the front right position. Okay, that means Morris or Adebayo have to drop out. But for me, then Ogbene plays there, and he can spend all his time on the top half of the pitch doing those runs. That could be so exciting.
It could be. I've said before about Chio, and I want him to believe in his pace a little bit more than he does. I just think first 5 minutes, even if he thinks he's not going to beat the guy, if you put the ball past him and go for it, even if he doesn't get it, that defender is then going to be thinking he's going to be going past me. It puts him on the back foot for the rest of that half. I think if he shows intent right from the outset.
Walters on the other side of the pitch. Outstanding.
He's brilliant.
Outstanding, and he's only going to develop into a better player.
I mean, how old is this kid? 19.
He's very young.
19, 20.
He looks like he's playing Championship football.
Well, I was going to say that Arsenal wanted to. He came from Arsenal. They wanted to keep him, but he wanted to play football.
That's good for him.
His development with us is going to be immense, isn't it?
I think Mikel Arteta put him on the bench. I think 9-10 times last season, was it, in the Premier League?
Okay.
Obviously, I don't think he made an appearance, but
we had a moment in that second half. It went probably through 5 or 6 players, but it went through him a couple of times.
Yeah.
Where you're thinking, oh my God, somebody just lump it up the pitch.
Yeah.
But we passed it around. No panic. There's no fear in the boy.
Yeah.
He's really, really calm.
I think he's quite a big lad as well, isn't he? He's quite tall, quite gangly.
I thought he was he had a superb performance.
He looks like I said. I mean, for a young kid, he looks like he's been playing professional football for the last 10 years.
We've got a good one there.
Yes, 100%. And if he improves and keeps improving, hits his peak at whatever age, maybe 5, 6, 7 years time, then wow, he's gonna be worth a bit of money, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think our biggest chance of the first 15-20 minutes was Morris. We've already sort of touched on the Morris thing. The ball from Clark was sublime.
Has to score.
Well, I was going to ask, should Morris have done better?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Has to score.
I think so.
He's got to put his laces through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just trying to slide underneath the keeper.
Yeah, you know, as they, I don't know, I was never a striker, but they tell strikers to go across the goalie. And I think it was a half decent save, but he's gone across the goalie. There was possibly near post chance, but I think if he hits it hard enough, he's past the goalie before he knows it's there.
Even a slight lift.
Yeah, because the keeper was close enough for him to not be able to react to a harder shot. You know, I was talking to my grandson earlier, and I said if he'd have just shot it at his head, he'd have instinctively moved out of the way of it. But I thought it was a fairly weak finish. I don't think he caught it as cleanly as he wanted to.
And the thing is, people say, "Oh yeah, it's on his weak foot," but I don't think he's got a weak foot finish.
No.
This guy's got a fantastic left foot. We've seen it. I mean, that finish against Swansea, I think 2 seasons ago, for example. I mean,
he got a long range one at Loftus Road as well when we done 3-0. So
and you think even more, your wrong foot, you just smash it, just hit it, hit and hope, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, he didn't, as I say, he didn't have to break stride. It was perfect. It was a great run from him. You know, he was right on the angle, but it was literally a touch and shot.
Ball was on point as well to him.
It wasn't a good finish. I'd imagine he'll be disappointed.
He'll be beating himself.
I think he was disappointed, but and to be fair, up to that point, him and Elijah at the front were shutting them down real quick, like as we said earlier, making the goalkeeper make mistakes. And then we have Elijah's chance. Now, I'm looking at this.
Which one was this? Is this the one where
his header?
The header, because there was another one, wasn't there, as well?
The goalie saved it, parried it down, and he got there and turned.
But I mean, the keeper on that one, Mataro, the keeper was literally just a yard away
don't get
from
wrong,
him.
I'm not saying he should have scored, because he was about, I think, like you say, yard out from him, and he's covered it. He's put himself big.
Yeah, that was a really good move, though.
Yes, it was.
It was a really good move to get that to that position, and it was just a bit. It sprung out to him, didn't it? And he tried to turn it in. You know, any other day of the week when you get a bit of luck, that goes in, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, squeeze it past. You see it every now and then, I think, but you've probably got like a 2 in 10 and scoring them ones, haven't you?
Yeah. From where we were standing for that header, it looked to me like the goalkeeper barely touched it.
Oh, I don't know. I think he's.
That's what it looked like to me. He barely touched it.
Oh, I don't know. It looks like, well, I mean, I might have to see it back again, but it looks like he's got a very good hand to it.
Yeah, no,
very good hand.
Yeah, it was a decent save.
Very good save.
Was it a decent save because Eli could have done better with the header? Because that header down there, you could take it down if you want. That header down, if he's straight with his head there, that's bullet into the goal.
Again, I wasn't a striker, but from you know they
don't want a striker. Everyone,
I wasn't. I was a defender, and not a very good one. But before anybody says anything,
well, you could have been in the Luton strikers,
but they tell him to header it down, don't they?
Yeah.
But was it too down? You know,
I think it was too soft. Like we were saying about Morris, he needed to hit it. I think if Eli catches that, hits it.
So you think he mishit it for, you know, I know it's a header, but
I think it's a fantastic save, I'll be honest. I don't think he could have done any more, I'll be honest.
No, but Tara, I think you're right. It was a good save because it was a hellish angle for him to get.
That's why it spun up as well.
And it was right up in the top corner. So the keeper did do well. However, and I've seen quite a few headers like this from Elijah. If he'd have headed it like he did the goal he got against Man City, you know, where it, you know, good jump and then just put it in straight. It went down into the ground. It gave the keeper a chance. If he heads it straight, like you said, Dave, 5 yards out, it's a goal.
Yeah, it's a goal, 100%. He's not saving it.
Yeah, but you have to get a slight angle on the header as well.
Well,
he's not saving it. He was right in front of the goal.
He was right in front of the goal, just inside the far post.
Was he not like 7, 8 yards out at this point?
No. It's 6 yard line, if not slightly inside it, just inside the far post, I would say, or level with the far post. It was easier. What Dave said is right. If he'd have just headed it straight, not down, straight, there is no way the keeper is going to get anywhere near it.
I might see this again in a second.
Yeah, I want to see the cross in because if it comes
brilliant cross.
If it comes in flat, you can header it straight. But if it loops in,
it was a decent cross. If he meets
even if it's looped though, Darren, you can still head it straight. You don't have to head it down into the ground. He's not Crichton.
But I know. I mean, I was right behind the goal, but I know I jumped up because I thought it was in. You know. Head in hands, and I went, how did that not go in?
And that's how we felt all afternoon, I think, with chances. We've touched on the booking, the first booking for Kaminski. And I think, we sort of put that to bed. I think, he booked the wrong player for certain. But the second booking, you sit there and you go, why did you do that? Why?
Yeah. Mad moment.
Was Mengi not covering the player, and not one? And did he get booked for the second challenge or the first? I think the second.
What, Kaminski's?
I think if you had to choose between them, it would be the second one.
Well, I thought the second one was the one that got in the yellow.
I think he's on his way anyway.
No, I
score.
When you watch it back, the ref's already blown for the first one.
Has he?
So the second one can't count.
Yeah.
It has to be the first one. But it's a booking. It's a booking. The keeper's that far out, taking him out. It's a booking.
Yeah, it could have been either of them, Dave.
But I mean, it felt like he did the second. He knew he was going, and I'm just going to have you as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
who else wants to go?
We also know Kaminski's, apologised to the fans for that. However, having said that, did he need to come out of the box to do that?
It probably comes off the back of last week.
Miscommunication.
And Celta Vigo, the ball over the top, he stayed on his line, and they scored twice last week. It's got to play in his mind. And I know, like when you watch the one from Burnley and Johnson afterwards, when it went in, he went, "What? You're not coming out."
Exactly.
Portsmouth, the first time they've played one over the top, because let's be honest, they didn't really get in, did they?
No.
They played one over the top, and he's just come out.
So is that going to compound his apprehension in future?
Well, this is it. Now
games?
We don't know what to do, does he? But you're right. There was a covering defender. He didn't need to go anywhere near it.
Yeah, that's what baffled me. You say the covering defender. That's what got me. I was a bit like, why has he done that? But like I say, it's probably miscommunication. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you boys could hear it. Didn't anyone give him the call, or
it was down the other end?
But the whole point of that was, at least we have James Shea on the bench.
Well, isn't it? I mean, a lot of fans singing Luton's number one, and great. Shea is such safe hands.
Quality.
But I was thinking, for the Portsmouth fans, they go, "Oh, they brought on their reserve goalie. He's got number one on the back." Do you know?
Yeah. No, exactly.
It's not a problem for us.
Mr. Safe Hands, eh?
Well, he's never let us down.
No, never.
He's never let us down. I mean, I would have had him on the bench ahead of Krul all of last season,
100%.
Personally. The only downside is the fact that we went down to 10 men. Him being the goalkeeper did not make us weaker at the back at all.
I think James Shea's better than what people think he is as well. I think that he could do a job. Especially at championship level. I think he could be number one still.
When you go down to 10 men, usually, especially when it's the goalkeeper, and you can swap the goalkeeper, you have to give up a forward. You have to do that. It's hard to take your club captain off, right? I thought Morris was strong on the day. Did we see a little bit of thing going on the touchline when he went off?
He seemed to be talking to one of the coaches, not in a heated way, but sort of quite animated. And then there was a conversation with Edwards as well. I mean, in the heat of it, Morris is going to be a bit naffed off about being taken off. He will understand, the good of the team, blah, blah, blah. But at that moment, he'll be thinking, damn.
So I wasn't too, this is going to sound terrible as well, I wasn't too worried about losing the forward because the defence stayed the same and the defence is strong. You just got to watch the extra player, right?
But it's the press, isn't it? Like you say,
right, we lost the press. So the whole game changes on that send-off.
Yeah.
Before the send-off, we're shutting their keepers down. He's making mistakes. We're getting the chance with the ball. Afterwards, we can't do that anymore. Eli can't run the whole front-back line for that.
And it's just, obviously, when it did happen, I noticed as well, obviously, when I was watching on the box, basically, I noticed that, whatever, side of the pitch it was, the fullbacks would then squeeze up a little bit more. And so on, then it gets shifted across, then they drop, and then it was almost like that.
Well,
it was almost half-hearted press kind of thing, but it was like close the block, and then they'd try and spread it out wide.
Well, he went to a 4-4-1 didn't he?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So he went 4-4-1, which I think you have to with 10 men. I said it last week. I'm not going to hold back with what I was.
No,
we got different
don't need
comments.
to apologise, young man.
No, but we got different
He's
comments
not.
backwards and forwards. Like I said last week, I don't like our fight. Look, we started well against Portsmouth, but my word, we defended well in a 4.
Yeah.
And what it does, it gives you Chong and Ogbene out on the wings, actually wingers out wide. Yes, when you've only got 10, they had to come back and double up. But when we went forwards, we were saying about Ogbene, He got down the line. All the guy could do was pull his shirt.
Yeah.
He was gone.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yeah.
That was quite annoying too, wasn't it?
Very much.
But again, that's because they can play in a 4, and then you get the 4 midfielders. They can play as wingers, and actually with wingers, you then cross the ball into the box, which is a better game for Eli.
Yeah.
I just thought we looked.
Structurally
that's
much
when we
better.
looked like the old Luton when we were
Yeah.
structured with the 4.
Yeah,
and it look, Mengi had an unbelievable game, but in a 4, Mengi was just immense.
He was just immense, and again, I think having Bell in the defensive line as well, you know, because Mengi knows that he can trust him 100%. You know, he can just concentrate on his own game more. But we were seeing him; he was stepping out of defence and bringing the ball forward a couple of times, and yeah, it was just. Bearing in mind, he's been out 5 months. That was such a solid first performance back on a really hot day. You know, just brilliant. I didn't realise how much we'd missed him, to be honest with you.
Brilliant.
And having that senior one there, if you go back to the Burnley game, Mengi was almost the senior defender.
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
he's
responsibility.
he's young. You know,
He's young.
that's asking an awful lot of him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think we're asking a lot of him because he showed it last season. He showed that he was capable. But he needs the other people around him.
Yeah, you touched on it earlier, Steve, where I think where Mengi near the end, I think there was twice it looked like their player was through a goal, and he just came from nowhere and took it off.
Just a beast, isn't he?
You can do that in a 4. You can do that because then you're in a 4. You're covering an area, not a player. So if you're attached to if you're in a back 3 and you're attached to a player, you're with that player. So if the player's through and goal isn't your player, no one's with him. Whereas he's in an area and he's like, that ball's loose in that area, or that player's going into that area, I'm going across.
And I suppose it is a more natural reaction to react to a pass that's made rather than a movement that someone is making.
Quite possibly.
Wow. That's a bit in depth.
Dave's like,
I'm sitting there.
brains
What are you
hurting.
talking about, boys? No.
Because the good thing about this
Mengi
podcast
was-
is that we don't do real tactical stuff.
No, we don't.
Okay?
That's nothing. That's why.
I told you I played in defence.
Yeah, Mengi was outstanding. Waters was outstanding. Just actually, we're talking as if Portsmouth didn't have any chances, but they did, and they created some really good chances in the first half. Some great saves by Kaminski. But I don't remember Shea having to make any fantastic saves.
No,
I mean, apart from that position
solid.
for the one that got flicked on behind, and he was there just to.
Well,
catch
the
it.
one-
I absolutely shot my pants at that point as well.
The one where
I thought it was in.
you're talking about when the ball went out of play.
No, you were
That
talking
was a
first half. It was the first half where one.
Was that the first half?
If it's the one
Jesus.
I'm thinking of, yeah.
Was
it
it?
was quite early on, and I think he just went. Whoop.
Yeah, so the ball, ball got flicked and then he flicked it backwards.
For those that are not watching on YouTube, you would have seen Darren just emulate James Shea.
My finest acting skill.
yeah, and you can go and see him live on stage in Toddington. The one that I didn't realise the ball had gone out of play. I thought it had gone out of play. Didn't think the linesman had given it, and it came back and it was driven in, and he pushed the ball. And was it Mengi on the line or was it
Pelly?
Pelly on the line.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't know that they hadn't.
No,
it was a brilliant save.
Great effort. Really was a great effort.
Portsmouth will be a little bit disappointed they haven't beaten 10 men. We're a little bit disappointed that we didn't beat them because I think we've done well enough to do that.
I'm not being funny. They did not do enough in the second half. They did not do nowhere near enough. If Luton had played like that against, say, shoes on your foot kind of thing, if we had done what they'd done, I'd be fuming.
Yeah, and that would have made 2 weeks running.
There was I think it was 6 minutes at a time, 5 minutes at a time, something like that. And I think you played like an extra 2.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, they were just pissing about the ball, just knock it left ways, left to the right.
Yeah, I mean,
back to
there was a
keeper.
couple of fairly aimless crosses into the box, but nothing of real danger.
We need to talk about the players that come on, especially Joe Taylor.
Yeah.
He offered something different, didn't he?
Yeah, very much. And I think we've all acknowledged that he does offer something different. He's a channel runner and sort of pace and dynamic and that. I would like him when he didn't have the ball to have done a bit more. I would want him to have given the defenders on the ball more of a hard time.
Yeah, this is what we're hearing. This is why we're hearing he's not getting as much game time as well. Obviously, he doesn't press enough and whatever.
You know, especially when obviously you're a man down and they're probably getting a little bit tired with his burst of pace.
Well, he's just been on the field a little bit quicker.
That's right. He could have maybe nicked one or two, but you know, he had that great run. But yeah, I want a little bit more of him when he hasn't got the ball.
Let's talk about that great run. Actually, when he picked the ball up. He ran through 2, 3, 4 players or whatever it was, and he had 2 choices: shoot or pass to Chong.
It's tough, that one. Isn't it?
There's only one thing in his mind when he got the ball, by the way, on the halfway line, wasn't it? You know, he wasn't going to recycle the ball or whatever. He's like, I'm going.
When the ball broke back to him, you could see he was running in a way. So he was lining himself up to shoot. You sort of change your stride slightly. So I think Chong was really annoyed because I think that would have been the right pass in that. But we've seen a few goals from Joe Taylor last season when he's been out on loan, where he's just bundled and burnt his way through and then put it away.
Yeah.
It's akin to the.
I was expecting him to put it away.
It's akin to the chance he had at Wembley when he's through. You think he's going to score. Obviously, a handball at that time, and I thought I was a little bit disappointed he didn't put it away. I didn't really see Chong because I was too focused on where he was going.
Yeah.
But maybe he was the same. And can we just talk one more about Eli? Eli had a really good chance in the second half when we had 10 men.
Yeah.
He just didn't connect right. I don't know what he was trying to do. Was he trying to scoop it over the goalkeeper?
I don't know. But
when he was through down on the left-hand side, he sort of
inside left,
flicked it over the bar to the sort of
just ballooned away, didn't it?
He just, for me, he just seems the one that's. Look, every player to a man was so much better, but he's the one that just seems to be lacking a little bit of confidence. That extra few percent.
Yeah,
like he was. First half when he was coming through on goal, when the defender's got all his shirt, the ref can't see it because he's behind. He didn't really get the defender's shirt. He didn't really fight for that ball.
Fight back for it.
It just seems to be. He needs a goal. He needs a goal, but
it'll come.
But with the Taylor again, I know I harp on, but the 4-4-2. How nice would it be to see the big guy and the little guy? Eli and Taylor are up together. That combination could really work.
It could, because he's got a real good turn of pace. You know, he can beat someone over 10 yards.
I didn't realise how quick he was,
Yeah.
Until I see him run through and go. I think he took like a deflection or 1 or 2 deflections. When we went through, and I thought, Christ almighty. I mean, look at him go. It was like a road runner, wasn't it?
And again, and looking at the goals that he has scored sort of last year, a lot of them, they're all sort of like Shearer-esque, good quality strikes. I hardly ever see him scuff. So when it broke to him, I thought he's going to get a really good shot off, and he did sort of just pulled it across. It is a shame because I was expecting it to be a really good shot, but maybe he should have put it across the
thing
Chong.
is, though, you say about putting it across the Chong, right? Was it not quite a difficult pass, though, the angle?
I don't think so. I haven't.
Because there was a defender. I know Chong was obviously coming behind it at the back post, whatever. Obviously Taylor's about here, isn't he? To
he passes to Chong. Chong's over.
Yeah, I don't think it's a difficult pass over to him.
There is a defender there. From our angle, you can't tell whether that defender's blocking it. But
from the angle I saw on the highlights, it did look like it was a bit like Chong was like quite a way behind. He was about 5-6 yards.
He's a young lad that wants to take his chance. He's going to shoot all day long.
Yeah. Oh no, don't blame him.
At the end of the day, a really, really strong, big 1 point from that performance.
Really uplifting.
We need to really be pleased and push on from that.
And actually, when they came round for the applause at the end, the players looked a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, because they know we could have done it.
We could have, but you then can't be disappointed with the outcome of how the game went.
Of course.
Look, we're all pretty happy with a 0-0.
Also, what I was going to say was obviously what Rob Edwards said, excuse me, in his interview as well after the game. He goes, obviously going down to 10 men. He goes, I think the players needed to experience that to basically give them the know-how. I don't know what the words he used, but it was basically saying the fact of
it's a good learning point.
Yeah, they needed to learn from it. They needed that experience.
Also, I just need to mention that the crowd, Luton fans, were brilliant on the day, and they stuck behind the team. There was nothing. A brilliant day out. Well done to everybody who went. Can we just briefly touch on news of Luton slapping a £15 million price tag on Alfie Doughty?
Well, he's got to suggest that the phone has been ringing because they don't.
Well,
know.
why wouldn't it?
Well, no, I totally agree, and I'm surprised that there hasn't been a bit more public interest with regards to Doughty, Mengi, and Elijah to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know, but
Is this the reason we haven't recruited yet? Because we don't know who we're losing.
Well, it could well be,
big
but
question.
it's leaving it a little bit last minute, isn't it?
Your man from
probably
Cardiff,
get priced out as well.
rumoured to be linked with him.
McGuinness, he didn't play for Cardiff, did he, on the weekend?
Surely it's got to be us.
I keep reading stuff that we're apparently close.
But
But like you say,
But for me,
it's apparent.
We only need to bring in a defender if a defender's going. Again, I said it last week. If we're not going to sell anyone, we don't need another defender. They're there. We just need them fit.
Well, but you can't count on the fitness of Burke. He is consistently.
Yeah, but Burke didn't play Saturday. Mads didn't play Saturday.
Yeah, I know, but how many times over the last 2 or 3
Johnson didn't
seasons
play
have we
Saturday,
had a defensive?
I've just listed 3 that weren't even featured.
Yeah, but over the last 2 or 3 years, we've consistently had defensive problems because of loads of injuries.
What I'm saying is, we fielded 3 centre halves, and there's 3 that didn't get on. Now you want to put another one there. When Holmes came on,
He might go out on loan potentially, though.
how many spares do you need? We don't need him. We just
he
need
won't
him
be a
fit.
spare.
But this is the thing.
This is enhancing the
Joe
first
Johnson,
11.
I think Joe Johnson will get loaned out anyway. We can bring another defender. I think he'll be on his way out anyway. Loan. I think he needs a loan potentially. Maybe lower league, maybe lower division, whatever else. I think also Tom Holmes might be another one that maybe goes out on loan again. To another championship side. If he's not guaranteed first team football, it's one of those. I mean, I know. Look, if they league one last season, I'm not saying he looks like a very good
He's
player.
solid.
He does look
He
very
reminds me
good.
of Matty Pearson.
Yeah.
He'll header everything back. There's no flair to him, I don't think. I don't think he's particularly fast, but he'll header everything.
I was going to say, if McGuinness comes in, he isn't a spare. He is one of the first defenders on the sheet.
Well, especially you're paying £10 million.
Yeah.
I mean that's what he's been priced at. Apparently, it's crazy money.
rather than be spending
Is it crazy
£10 million
money?
further up the pitch.
Yeah. No, they don't get wrong. So would I personally. But
Is it crazy money? No, because they know what money we have. Anybody who's selling a player will go and go, well, that club's got a little bit extra. We said this last time.
We alluded that last week, didn't we?
And Doughty, I think, has he got a year left on his contract? So you either cash in now or he could go for free this time next year.
Well, we'll wait and see. The window's shutting in a couple of weeks. I expect to hear transfer business very soon. I say that with no knowledge whatsoever. I'd like to think that something will happen. I think in before out, I hope. In before out. Has anybody texted Jacob to see whether he's given us a result for
I wondered when he was going to bring this up, Steve. I wondered when he was going to bring this prediction
I'm not.
up.
We're just going to gloss over the fact that I said that we wouldn't concede, wherever you lot all said we would concede. So I'm taking moral high ground from that.
No
And
points
so
for that, though.
let's talk about Preston and
Let's
what the
just bring
No.
Bataro up to speed. We were saying, going back to the car after the game, that it takes people of knowledge and talent to predict a draw.
At this point, I can use the mute button.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think you went
1-1.
Well, 2-2. So we both went draws. You went.
Yeah, but you were wrong with the scores.
Okay, but
so
how's the table looking, Darren?
no, we're not talking about the table yet. Let's just finish. Let's finish on a bit of a higher, because otherwise people will just switch off.
So, how's it working? So I just want to know quickly. Is it one? So if you get basically, you say it's a 2-2 draw, for example, for Saturday. If you get a point because it's actually a draw, and then you get an extra 2 points if it's a result or something like that.
Correct result.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
okay,
it.
yeah, so we're going, yeah.
Yeah, so Dave's bottom at the moment.
Listen,
Hang on,
I've already said.
He's below me.
No, you, Jake.
Oh, come on.
Bataro, Dave and Jacob are on 0 points.
Okay, I'm not interested, but can we just get our predictions for Saturday? Preston is a new game. This is one we do need to win, in my opinion.
1-0 Luton.
Okay.
He's gone 1-0 Luton.
1-0 Luton.
Fucking hell, you lot, behave yourself. Get out of here.
Go on then, Dave.
You can always watch this back, Darren. You can write it down later. I'm going for my favourite score, 2-0. Luton.
3-1 Luton.
See, concedes again. That's how much he has on our fantastic. James Shea has not conceded a goal for ages for Luton Town.
Was it 2 years?
2 years. 2 years. And you're saying he's going to concede next weekend?
I don't know.
Well, he's going to be playing, isn't he?
Yeah.
So,
And
he's
we'll
gonna be
message
playing.
Jacob to get his score prediction.
And look, we're joking about the game and everything. This is a game that we've really got to go and have a go at, because the guy that was in, so they lost their manager after the first game. The manager that took hold of the game this weekend has now left.
Yeah.
they are in absolute disarray. If we can't go and take advantage of that, then more for us. We've got to go. We've got to go absolutely gun ho at Preston.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens. We'll be back, obviously, with that one next week. Also, look out for our Preston preview show, which will probably come out Thursday, Friday. If you haven't liked and subscribed, it's all we've got time for tonight, to be honest, boys. If you haven't liked and subscribed on YouTube already, please do that. Quick mention to 2 people we met on Saturday who were called...
They were called Liz, and he was actually called Dan.
Yeah.
Liz and Dan. And I'd just like to say hello as well to Dave and Rebecca, my old school friends, who happened to park in the parking space randomly at the same time behind us. I haven't seen them in years, so hello to Dave and
We're
Rebecca.
not saying any more, are we?
No.
No, okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. It all helps. If you see us at a game, come over and say hello, because it's always nice to see you. And we'll see you all again next time.
Cheerio.
Thank you, everyone.